You tuned in to Tactical Skill and Defense. It is your favorite gun on the check-in in, Jay Skilly. May God bless each and every one. You continue to take care of one another and get to know gun laws in your state and surrounding states when traveling. Man, today is not about guns. I'm gonna let you know if you're clicking on this video, it's not about a firearm. It's not about a new accessory. It's none of that. This is gonna be raw emotions after seeing this particular video. It has gained nationwide news. And so you're going to get a raw emotion after me looking at this video and after me dissecting this video, looking at it between 3 to 5 times to get it kind of clear what's going on in this particular video, man. So with that being said, we're going to jump into Burner Girl 44. She only has one video up, but man, that don't mind that. I'm encouraging her to put more of her medical experience on YouTube. She works in the medical field, so definitely go up there, go show her some love. Burner, B-U-R-N-A girl, Girl 44.
For phlebotomy. I have some of everything over here. Here's my printer. I have 2 file cabinets, one for my patients and my contract businesses that I have contracts with, and my students. More study guides, silo bulletin board, and there are my national certifications for instructor and CPT, of course. And my debt.
So man, shout out to her and go show her some love. She's definitely been hitting my chats hard, so I wanted to go show the love back, you know what I'm saying? So man, if you could, please go show the young lady some love. And let's get into this video, y'all. You know what I gotta take y'all to? The lovely desk. Let's start off my iPhone 12 Pro Max, my handkerchief, my little, anybody been on my channel, you know what's that's consumed. My rat's tourniquet. I don't carry the the other tourniquet because I have children. My wallet, extra mag, my fixed blade, my defensive knife. I carry a small multi-tool in here, so there's no need for me to carry a folder. For my reality, I'm trying to minimize as much as possible, so I don't carry an extra knife, folder knife to, open up packages or open up boxes or packages. Cause I'm gonna show you. Oops, wrong one. As you can see, it's a Gerber dime. It has a big enough blade for me to do that, and what I need to do as far as opening up packages and boxes. We're going to get into the Roger. Oh, I don't want to burn it. Hold on, let me say his name correct. Fortson, I think is what it is, but I want to definitely put some respect on that family and also his name as well. Hold on, y'all. Sorry about that, man. I gotta make sure I get this man's name right. I'm not gonna get on here and do that. They had his funeral last Friday. He was a resident. Fortson, Roger Fortson. I might have said his last name wrong. I do apologize. They just had his funeral last Friday, I want to say, in Atlanta, because he's originally from Atlanta, but he reside in Florida, where the fatal shooting was done. I'm gonna go as far as a father. And I'm a tell y'all what I saw in the deputy's body cam. So I looked at it. He first comes to an apartment complex, and y'all can see this on YouTube if you really want to go look at it yourself and make your own determinations. But I'm gonna tell you what I saw and what I think. But I'm gonna come to it. I'm gonna come at it as a father first. So he gets the call. He goes to the apartment complex. He goes into the leasing office. A young man says, "Well, once you get here, the young lady told me to call you." So after he talks to him, he leaves the leasing office. He goes and he meets up with the young lady that says there has been a domestic violence disturbance here before, and it got kind of out of hand today, or it's been getting it didn't got out of hand today, and they decided to call and get the authorities involved. So he asks her first, where is the apartment at? She says, and then this is body cam that has been released. This is not me making up anything, but this is actual body cam that has been released to the public. So she goes to say, "Well, I don't know." They get to elevators. He asks her again, "Where is the disturbance coming from?" She says, "Apartment 1401. He gets in the elevator shuts, he begins to ride the elevator to the 4th floor. He turns one way, he turns the other way, and he starts to walk. On the very end of that complex is 1401. Now, I just watched a press conference with the deputy that's in charge of that county. Says there was no him covering over the peephole, and no. Well, you don't. He's not interrupting the view by covering up the peephole. Well, before this body cam came out, he knocks first. After he knocks, so I'm at your door. I knock, and he goes just like this, away from the peephole, and stands there for a second. Now you see, I'm out of frame. This is what happened. He's out of frame. So he waits for a minute. No, matter of fact, before he even gets there, he sits at the door just like this. He sits there for between 30 minutes to a good minute to see if he hears any type of disturbance in the apartment building. So he hears, and I'm listening. I looked at the video between 3 to 5 times. He's doing just like this, ear against the door. He's listening. He's trying to figure out, is there a disturbance in the apartment building? So he proceeds to back away. He goes over to the other side, sits there for another 15 seconds to 30 seconds, and then he comes over, he knocks on the door. Now, this is your door, I'm knocking on it. After he knocks on it, he moves himself to the side, out of vision of the peephole. So he's not covering the peephole, but he's not visible. So to anybody that gets an unexpected knock at your door, you knock on my door and you don't say anything, the first thing I'm doing as a gun owner, I'm going to go grab my pistol, because you haven't identified yourself and I don't see you in the view of my peephole. So he does it again. Boom, boom, boom. He steps to the other side. The second time he identifies himself as a sheriff's office, but you identify yourself as a sheriff's office, but you don't stay in line of the peephole. So you can say sheriff department all day long, but if I don't see you visibly in my peephole, as y'all don't see me on my phone camera, I'm not opening up the door because you said sheriff department. I'm gonna let y'all know this. Here in Detroit, we have so many people that act like police officers. We had so many cases where people peace officers come, well, it ain't even police officers, have civilians with black Crown Vics come up to people's door, raid people's houses, and they're not even cops. They're not the sheriff department. They're nothing. They go and buy this so-called police gear, and they raid your door. So I wouldn't have opened up the door neither. Let's be, and I'm speaking as a father. I wouldn't have opened up the door neither. So what he did after that, he goes back. He knocks on the door again. Identified, third time he knocks on the door, he identifies himself as a sheriff. He steps over again, out of view of the peephole. So how do I know that you're the sheriff department where you're not presenting yourself to where I can see your badge, I can see your uniform, so I know exactly who you are? You saying sheriff don't mean a god dang on thing to me when it comes down to you not identifying yourself physically. You identified yourself by speaking, but you didn't identify yourself by putting yourself directly in front of my peephole so I can see your uniform. I'm not about to try to guess what's going on because, first of all, there's nothing going on in my apartment for the sheriff to be even called to my apartment. So let's get this straight. The first thing is he gave the deputy department the wrong apartment number. That's the first mistake that they made. Wrong apartment and quick to shoot. I'm not anti-police. Let's get this one thing straight before people start coming here trying to blast me. I have tried out for the sheriff department and I've tried out for the Detroit Police Department and the Wayne County Police Department. I always wanted to be a cop. But let's start with the foolishness. Like my grandmother would say, let's start with the foolishness. So once he identified himself the third time, Airman decides to open up his door. And as he's opening up his door, and if you see in the video, clear as day, he is at the low ready. Low ready means your gun is not up, it's not coming up, and it's not presenting the weapon as a threat to anybody that's in front of you. That's what low ready means in a two-way community. So he has his firearm right down to his side. He's not pointing at the sheriff. He's not threatening the sheriff. He's very cooperative with the sheriff. Now, I'm going to let y'all know. Within 5 seconds of that man opening up that door, shots are fired. So, as he's opening up the door, he sees the weapon in the young man's hand. The young man's not pointing. The young man has it down to his side, low ready. And he instructs the young man to step back. As the young man stepping back, he has his hand up just like this. Like, oh, okay. Soon as he goes to take one step back, 6 shots are fired. Point blank range into the young man's chest. 6 times. After the 6th shot, the young man drops. He instantly drops. The deputy asks him, throw the weapon, put down the weapon. The young man says, the firearm is over there and I don't have it anymore. So after 6 shots, you give him a verbal command to get rid of the firearm. First mistake they made, wrong address. That young man was on the phone with his girlfriend making plans to meet over the weekend. There was no disturbance in that apartment. Secondly, he is a airman in the U.S. military that has no criminal record. Everybody talked to, and I watched his funeral the other day. Very high regard of this young man. You couldn't get a better citizen than this young man right here. You couldn't. I mean, he was beloved. The Air Force loved him. Very mannerable. Mother raised him very, very well. Respect authority. Respect law enforcement. So you can't tell me that, and I'm as a father, because I try to look at this in both ways, but you have to deal with reality at the same time. And reality is, and I'm not against police. I still want to go and be a police officer. My dream is still not, you know what I'm saying, it's still a reality to me. But we have to call bull crap when bull crap is being said. Because that could have been me getting that same phone call. And mind you, my son is now 13 going on 14. He'll be 14 in September. And this young man is 23 years old and he lost his life, not at war, but in his own home, due to a reaction of a deputy. So it's hard. That video is very hard to digest. My condolences to his mother and his father. That phone call had to be one of the most heartbreaking phone calls they could ever get. Not him dying in war, him dying on foreign land, but him to die in his own home by just answering the door. We got to stop making excuses for foolishness. Because if you could tell him to drop the weapon after hitting him 6 times point blank range in the chest, you should have did that the first time before you fired any shots. Because you didn't put your hand over the peephole, but you decided to walk yourself out of the frame of the peephole. Now, his fellow, and you know what? It's not common that they get on there and they defend their officers. That's common. You know, and they wasn't gonna say, and you know, and let's be real. Let's think. That's what America's been over these last couple of years with these cases. They don't come out and say that their officer is guilty. They're not going to do that. So I wasn't expecting them to say, yeah, he shot in self-defense. I knew that was going to come out, so that didn't surprise me at all. But I would ask this: if that was that son, if that deputy has a son, would you have the same reaction if one of your fellow deputy shot your son point blank in the chest 6 times and did not raise a firearm to one of your fellow co-workers, one of your fellow deputies? Would you still have the same attitude? Let's be real. I'm gonna come at this as a gun owner and as a black man in America. That man had every right to come to that door with his firearm in his hand. Every right. That's his 2A right. And the fact that you hid yourself away from the peephole to your deputy justifying as he didn't cover the peephole. Well, you didn't have to cover the peephole because you're outside the peephole to where he can see who's knocking at his door. Let's be honest. Let's be real. I'm all about the right thing, not about what's popular, but what is the right thing in this situation. Y'all throw these press conferences up, you know, and that's just what it's going to be. I mean, I deal in reality. That's just what it's going to be. They're going to do that. But at the same time, y'all forget, or y'all don't forget, y'all know that these, you know, y'all don't, and I'm not quick to judge. That's why I need to look at that video 5 times before I got on here and made this video. And I'm sorry, y'all, it's a little bit of raving after that. But I have a cousin that's a police officer. I don't want my cousin to make that same mistake. We hold everybody accountable and everybody to high standards that's a firearm owner. But, and you know what? The cops make mistakes just like we do. But let's not make this a 2-3 year long out case when the evidence is very clear on what happened. Very clear. Within 5 seconds, that young man opened up that door, he lost his life. Because he was quick to pull the trigger and not quick to have a conversation. The young man was at a low ready. A low ready. Low ready means the gun is beside you, is on the side of you, not pointed up, not in the ready position. And as you tell him to move back away from the door, which he started to do, he can take one full step without getting 6 shots put into his chest. Let's make it make sense. The system is broken. And I'm the first to say that. And I still want to be a cop. The system is broken. Lack of training. When you come in, a police officer, training should always be yearly. And I've said this before on multiple platforms. When you become a police officer, once you graduate the academy, training should be done and mandatory once a year to get back to the fundamentals on how you are to deal with citizens. You will get a-holes. I understand that. I'm not saying that the world is going to be perfect. They go through a lot. Children, everybody want to come and let's stop doing this. Well, they want to come home safe. Everybody wants to come home. Let's be honest. I don't want to get shot down in the streets and not make it home to my children and to my wife. So let's stop doing that. We have to be brutally honest with what's going on in this system as far as policing. Policing is broken. It was founded on white supremacy. Look it up. I'm not lying. Policing was made off slavery. And in 2024, we're still dealing with the same problems that we would deal with back in slavery. I got to be honest, man. That disturbed me to my core as a father, as a gun owner, and as a black man in America. I've seen white men come into drive 2 hours to a black neighborhood to shoot up a black grocery store. And was taken in custody. Not shot once, not shot at once, but was handcuffed and arrested and walked to the cop car. It's frustrating. And we're not supposed to feel some type of way? I have a son. That would be devastating if they called me and said my son got shot in his own home by a cop. They should know better. This is disturbing, man. It's 2024, and I have to have this conversation with my son on how to be cooperative with the police. The man was cooperative. How more cooperative could you get without getting gunned down in your own home? You can't. He's a fellow military special ops airman that did exactly what the cop said, but before he could take the step back and put the gun down, he got shot 6 times, point blank range in the chest, within 5 seconds of opening up his door to his home. And I got people in this gun community, in the 2A community, saying he shouldn't have answered the door with a gun. How ignorant can we be? I'm going to get on y'all. How ignorant can we be? Let's stop making excuses. That is so annoying to me. He can answer the door with his gun in his hand. That is a 2A constitutional right. And I would have did too the way he went about knocking on that man's door. You knocked on it, you moved out the frame of the peephole, and you want to say that you did it in self-defense. When you identified yourself by speaking, but you didn't identify yourself physically. I'm telling y'all, that's like this video for at least a good 20 minutes. And man, it's so disturbing on so many levels. As a father, as a black man, and as a gun owner in America. We have many cases where they're taking white men into custody after doing mass shootings. Multiple. And I'm not trying to make this a race thing, but I'm just speaking facts, man. I purposely waited to do this video. I haven't did a video in a month. And I was very conflicted about putting this out. But I said, you know what? I'm a black man. I'm a father of a black boy. It would not do justice if I didn't speak out on being a black man in America as a gun owner. And having a son that's black, that's going to one day have to deal with law enforcement. And I'm not putting everybody in one bag. But this has to be fixed. Congress, you're throwing out laws that keeps this happening. Joe Biden, if you really want to do something, correct the system that you so-called honor the citizens of the United States, and start making these bills pass. These bills are, y'all say, unconstitutional towards the police. Well, if you're doing the right thing, you ain't got nothing to worry about. That's what my grandmother always told me. If you're out here doing the right thing, you ain't got nothing to worry about. It's going on 30 minutes. I'm sorry, y'all. But as a father and as a gun owner, as a black man in America, this really pissed me off to the core. Because we're trying to justify, first of all, going to the wrong apartment. Second of all, acting like the man can't answer his door with a pistol in his hand. Because you haven't identified yourself physically. First knock, you didn't identify yourself as nothing. Secondly, you stood at the door and literally listened for at least 30 seconds to a minute in this man's apartment. So you had to know he was talking to somebody. You didn't hear a voice raise. You didn't hear none of that. That's why this is so disturbing as a black man, man. It pisses me off. I'm sorry, y'all. It's pissing me off. I would hate to get that call about my son getting shot by a deputy that don't know what the hell he's doing. To me, this is me personally. I'm sorry, y'all. That's the worst caller, or my son getting a call that his dad's been shot by a deputy because he answers it. Because first of all, you didn't identify yourself physically. It took you 2 knocks to identify yourself as a sheriff department. So what is the man supposed to do? I'm not expecting the cops to come to my door. I'm not doing anything wrong. You didn't identify yourself to the second knock, and you didn't identify yourself physically until I opened up the door. Let's be real. Stop with the dumbass excuses. I'm sorry, y'all. Ooh, I'm trying not to cuss. But let's stop with the dumb excuses. And 2A, community, let's stop making excuses to why he shouldn't have came to the door with his firearm in his hand. I gave you 2 reasons why that man came to the door with his firearm. You knocked on my door twice. You identify yourself as sheriff department until the second time. And then the third time, once I opened up the door, you physically moved into the frame of the door that I know you're a deputy. And I did not raise my gun at all. You told me to move back away from the door. I started to step 1 step backwards and you shot me 6 times in the chest. Anywhere else, case closed, you would have been any citizen in that case would have been charged with murder. Let's be 100 with it. I'm sorry. If that was me, I came to somebody though, and I identified myself as a sheriff and I wasn't a sheriff, or I identified myself as somebody else and I shot him in the chest like that, guess what? It wouldn't take a year for y'all to prosecute me. It wouldn't take y'all 2 years. It wouldn't take y'all 3 years. It wouldn't take y'all 4 years. It would take y'all less than 6 months to convict me as a felon that shot somebody in their own home. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to get off here before I say something that I'm going to regret. And I'm just going to say, my condolences goes out to his mother and his father, his siblings, 11-year-old sister and a 16-year-old brother. And then he has younger sisters, but they're they're grown women. To his aunties, to his cousins, to his uncles, to his father, to his mother, man. It's that's disturbing, and I couldn't put into words on how y'all guys feel. But I will feel angry. I will feel upset. I will feel betrayed. I will feel all type of emotions coming through my body. All just coming through my body. Because you're trying to cover something up that's right there in the public's face. You're trying to make excuses for a shooting that shouldn't have never happened. Sorry, I don't see it as in the cops' favor, but I see what I see with my eyes. And the video doesn't lie. You can't tell me what I see and try to tell me something different to make me believe what I did, what I saw. Oh, I hate these type of cases. I hate them. Because I want to be a police officer. I have a police officer in my family. I have police officers that retire in my family, friends. I have friend cops. And I hate to get on here and talk about something that does not need to be talked about. And an incident that does not need to happen in the home of us. When there's different, we have history where we have white men going into in the black neighborhood, driving 2 hours to a black neighborhood to shoot up a grocery store and gets put in a cop car in handcuffs. Not one shot fired at this young man. It's frustrating. It pisses me off as a father, as a black man, and as a gun owner. Sorry, y'all. It's about a 30-minute video. I really don't care if you look at it, but it did this. I like I said, I ain't put a video out in a month. And when this case came, I've been looking at it for the last 2-3 weeks. Well, at least for the last week. And and when I finally sat down and looked at the full, from him getting to the apartment, driving up into the leasing office, to him getting to that apartment, 1401, really disturbed me. Really, really disturbs me, man. We're still going through the same thing. Within the last 4 years, there's been so many unnecessary shootings on black men and black women by law enforcement. Come on, man. Let's wake up. Let's stop bullshitting around, man. We ask for Congress to pass certain laws and they don't pass them, and then it's another guy being murdered for no freaking reason. I'm second guessing even voting this year, man. I'm not even lying to y'all, man. I'm second guessing even going out there to vote this year, and I've never felt this way in all my years of voting. Since I've been turned 21 and been able to vote, or 18 and I've been able to vote. I never felt this hopeless when it comes to Congress and what they are doing on Capitol Hill. We are asking them to pass certain bills in the honor of these men and women that's been killed by law enforcement, and then we still come back with the same book. We got to revise the laws that we want in the books to protect us. Oh, that's frustrating. Love y'all. Y'all be safe and have a good one. I'm quite sure this video is not going to get the views. I really don't care. I'm really talking to my son. I'm really talking to black men. I'm really talking to black men that own firearms here in America. It is not fair. The law was not made for us, and we continue to get burned each and every year with these senseless killings that keep putting, and this is a prime example of a great young man. This ain't no boy. He ain't got no, you can't talk about his criminal. He don't have a criminal record. Mother raised him right. Raised him right to respect police, to respect authority, and still get gunned down in his own home. Frustrating, y'all. Sorry, but I just had to get this off my chest when I saw that video. I've been looking at the last 2 days, and when I saw it, I was highly disgusted with what the deputy office had to say in his press conference on trying to say, well, we didn't discourage the peephole. But you also see the young man get out of line or get out of the view of the peephole. It's just as worse as you putting your hand up to the peephole. I got so emotional. I want to say so much, but I'm going to stop here. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating here in America. Very frustrating. The laws are not equal. The laws are not equal. It's 2 different laws going on here in America. 2 different laws. And we're losing. We're losing. Man, we're losing. Losing our black men. Losing our black women. Brown skinned and brown skinned women and our brown skinned men. To something that's supposed to protect us. We pay y'all to protect us. But it's the other way around. Y'all be blessed. May God bless each and every one of you. Continue to take care of one another. It is your favorite gun on checking out Jay Skilly. Man, y'all be blessed. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be blessed.